Hi, my name is Fraser and welcome to Graphic Card Repairs. So today we have an RTX 3070 GameRock. Now this card is a weird one because it throws an error code 43, uh, but when we run MATS, it it doesn't show up any errors on the memory. So I will show you what exactly I'm talking about. But before we do that, we'll just take some general readings just as a standard operating procedure. So let's start. Let's take a look. There is no shot, but we will still go ahead and do the checks. So let's take a look at the 12 volts PCIe. Okay, there's some glare, so let me just get rid of the glare. I think that's better. 12 volts PCIe, and we don't have a short. You can see that it's kilo ohms and rising, which is fine. 3.3 volts. Get the contact proper, and we don't have a short. It's in kilo ohms and rising. Let's take a look at the 8-pin. You can see that's kilo ohm and rising. Let's take a look at the second one, and again it's kilo ohms and rising. So I'll put this on the bench and I will show you exactly what I'm talking about. So I'll pause the video here, switch over to the bench. That's the test bench, and I'll continue from there. Okay, so I have connected the card onto the test bench. Let's start it up. I'm going to run the memory test first to show it to you. Okay, so I have switched the side camera onto the monitor because my internal display doesn't capture on the capture card. So I've switched over. Let me run the memory test. So I will switch over to the 3070 folder. Let me give you a bigger picture. And I'll run MATS now. Okay, so it's running MATS. We'll take a look at the results. And you can see that MATS passes straight away. Let's take a look at NVMT. Okay. So this is the NVMT report. Let's take a look at the report. Now, if I take a look at the report, if you see at the training status, it doesn't show me any error, nothing of that sort. If you see all the pins are absolutely okay. It shows me warning, but there is nothing of that sort, anywhere. So there is nothing that I see that there is any fault as such. So NVMT and MATS, they both are showing absolutely fine and show me no errors. Let me boot into Windows and show you what shows up in Windows. So I'm just scrolling through all the entire list, and you can see that everything seems to be okay. Let me power this down and boot into Windows for you. So I'll just pause the video, switch my drive, and I will continue from there. Okay, so I have gone ahead and switched over to my internal drive, the other drive, switched over the drive and switched the graphics to the graphic card. So the image that you will see is from the graphic card now. So I'll load into Windows. Let me open Device Manager for you. Okay. So the NVIDIA drivers have already loaded. Let's take a look at the drivers. Okay, it's code 18 this time. Let's wait for the drivers to reload. Okay, the drivers I think have reloaded, and there you go. So you can see here code 43. So I'll quickly shut down this computer and get the card back onto my workbench. Okay, so the cooler has been removed. This is the card, uh, the 3070. Now let's take a look under the microscope. Let's see if we can find anything. I'll just switch over to the microscope. So let's take a look. I don't suspect anything wrong that I would be able to see, especially around the memory area. But let's take a look. Maybe there is some kind of a resistor or something that may be the problem, or maybe the culprit. Let's take a look at the back. Okay, so I don't see any kind of a resistor that's broken off or anything. I don't see anything that is knocked off. Let's take a look, take a reading on the memory. Let's see what we can, or what shows up. Focus onto the memory pins that is here. These are the memory pins. The memory is very low. It's about 6.4 ohms, which is too low even for Samsung. So this is Samsung. You can take a look here. This is Samsung, and the memory resistance should be about in 20 to 25 or 19. But in this case, our resistance is about 6.5 ohms, which is a bit weird. So let's take a look if there's anything that's out of place in this area. Okay, so what I'll do is, I'll just probe around a bit because I find the resistance on the inductors of the memory are way too low for my liking. It should be around about 19 to 20 ohms or 20 to 25. That's if that was the case, it was normal, but it is way too low. My suspicion, I don't think any of the memory itself is faulty, but I'll just probe around to see why or what is causing the low resistance on the inductors. So I'll just pause the video, probe around a bit and come back with my findings. Okay, so I have gone ahead and probed around just to find if I could find any fault as such, but I couldn't find any. Everything looks to be normal. So what I will do is I'll go ahead and reball the core, and we'll take it from there. Okay, so the board has cooled down. So before we go ahead, let's take some resistance measurements. So to start off, let's take a look at the 5 volt first. And 5 volt is okay. Kilo ohms and rising, 1.8 volts. Kilo ohms, 1.3K, which is fine. Let's take a look at PEX. PEX is about 7 ohms, which is good. Let's take a look at memory. And memory is still the same, 6.4. So it was 6.4 before we reball, and it is still 6.4. Okay, we'll put this card on the bench, and we will go ahead and run MATS and NVMT and see if we can see anything different after the reball. So I'll just pause the video here. And I'll switch over to the other camera after I put this card on my test bench. Okay, so I have connected the card, installed the card on the test bench. Let's start it up. Okay, so the picture that you see is from the card. Okay, I'll switch over to the display. Change the HDMI. Okay, we have a pass there. Let me change to the other drive. Okay, so I'm running MATS again. This time from the 3070 drive. MATS has passed. Let's switch over to NVMT. Okay, we still have those warnings. Let's take a look at the report. Oh, sorry. Let's scroll down. Okay, we don't have any errors that are showing here. But I do see warning. But apart from the warning, it was just the same as it was before. Nothing has changed. So I'm just scrolling right down to see if anything is different, but I don't see anything different. Okay, so I'll switch this off and boot into Windows and see if code 43 is gone. Okay, so starting the test bench again. So this time I'm going to boot from Windows. Let's see if Windows loads. And the card has booted, but looks like we have an issue here. It hasn't. I have lost display. So what I'll do is I'll switch to the internal display and see if there is anything different. Okay, just a second. I'll switch off the test bench and boot from the internal display. Okay, so I have switched to the internal display. The reason I'm showing the internal display from the camera is because my capture card is not able to capture the output from the motherboard because I'm using the DVI to HDMI converter and it's not able to capture from there. So I'm showing it from the camera. So I'll start the computer up now. Okay, let me restart. Boot it from the correct drive. Okay, so I'm going to load into Windows. Okay, sorry. Okay, so let me go into Device Manager. Let's take a look and see what's showing up there. Okay, so this time it says it's working properly, but somehow I'm losing display. What I will do now is, let me put on the cooler and see if it makes any difference. Because I'm losing display after it loads into Windows, but from the internal display it's not showing me the code error 43. Let me shut this down, install the cooler, and I will start it back up again once I have the cooler up. So I'll just pause the video here and I'll start off again. Okay, so I have gone ahead and installed the cooler. Just to give you a heads up, I've also flashed the BIOS just in case. And let's start the test bench. Okay, so we have an image. Looks like it did not boot from the correct drive. Okay, let's see if it loads into Windows with the cooler and the flash BIOS. Put this way. Just waiting for the drivers to get installed. Moment of truth. We lost the image. It's back, doing something. And we still have the error code 43. Okay, so we've done almost everything possible. I don't think there is any error with the memory. The memory is absolutely fine. We've reballed the core. NVMT doesn't show any errors. MATS doesn't show any errors. My only take on this is it's the core itself. Normally reballing the core should have fixed the problem, but it did not. So it's a clear indication that it is the memory controller. So that's about it for this particular video. It's just a disappointment that after all the efforts and work, we couldn't get this card to get going. But that's all about the repairs. Sometimes you get it, sometimes you don't. It's just that it's out of your reach or out of the limits, and something that cannot be fixed. The only way is probably to replace the GPU core. At this point, the customer doesn't want to replace because of the cost involved. So that's about it for this video. If you like it, please hit the like button and subscribe for more content like this. Thank you and have a good day. Bye for now.